Hi everyone. Today is what is today? The 27th? Is today the 27th? My word. Yes, today is the 27th of August, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. We are coming into the close of the month for August, also the close of the week. And so these weekly and monthly candlesticks are going to start becoming very important for us to take a look at. So I wanted us to take a quick peek to see what price action was doing. You can still see that we are in a very forward, upward trend on very long time frames. And so this means that, let me make sure this is going to be visible on all time frames. Yes. This means that we buy the dip when the dip gets very deep. And so I'm going to just put a couple of lines on the monthly formations. If we lose these edges, we look below. And as we come into the end of the month, it's going to be pretty critical for us to hold where we started. And that's something supremely important for us to have a look at. All right, so where are we right now? We are above the close of the prior months, trending very nicely. When we come into the week, we can see that things look a little bit different. Still, how do we know what's most likely? We can use our eyeballs or draw a line that says, you know what, we got trend. And if trend is up, we buy the dip. But we also can see that we are reverting to a trend line here. I don't want to put up another moving average, but it feels like there's a trend line here that we ought to be watching. And so if you are so inclined, you might want to put up a 200. You might want to put up, I don't know. Let's do that. Let me pause this for a second and put something up. Okay, so I put up a moving average here very, very quickly. That's 30, right? I'm sure the 50 is below, but that's 30 on a weekly. And that might be something that price action is sort of hanging on to. We'll leave it sitting there in general. But what we can see is we've got ourselves a potential inside week, which says, hey, we got to have a wait state. Now notice, we had a weekly bearish engulfing candlestick. And then we had, I don't know if this is called the morning star or whatever. It clearly is a reversal formation. In hindsight, we can see that, but now we're coming up into a topping space. I don't believe we get to new highs. I just think we end up chopping around in here. This inside candlestick tells me, wait a second, if I'm looking at bigger picture, it means that price action is retracing part of this candlestick. And so, you know, maybe I want to look at a 50% retracement. Here's this high right around here of the prior candlesticks. Looks like about where we hit as the low, 56.21, and bouncing off of it. But as long as we are not above 56.52.50, our bounces should give us more selling pressure. So we're in a space, although trend is up, although momentum is solid, it's telling us intraday we might be looking for selling opportunities in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so that being said, as we come into the daily, we can see that this 56.21 holding, if we lose it, we've got to shift our framework into bearish formations that send us down into 55.85. Okay, so let's take a look very quickly at our 1 hour chart. And I drew the 6 to 7 Eastern on the space. I think that's right. 33.50. Yeah, that's close enough. Okay, and what we can see is that we went above the 2 standard deviations, and we hit this old resistance. So at the end of the day, these expansions help, but looking to the left gives us a good idea about what's going on. We can see that the 30 is curving over. So that's telling us, listen, I've got some bearish. Remember, concavity lends itself to bearishness, and this is concave here. And so we are probably going to head back down to this 56.22 area. but it could be very noisy. Value area low, they've been bouncing off of. So we're going to think about that as target zones in the grand scheme of things. And if it gets above 56.2950, we know we've got upside pressure. Wow, that took a long time. Let's skate through the others. NQ. Let's start with this monthly formation. What? Okay, it looks really different. We can see that we had a candlestick that could not hold higher. It's still in upward formations, right? Very far away from the volume points of control. Traders desperately trying to get back up over 19,967. And, you know, as long as we hold 18,554, we're going to have ourselves a bullish pressure event. But take a look at this, right? From the monthly formation, we really are having a month where we're absolutely doing nothing to downside. And so this suggests to me that our bounces are going to give us sell zones. Again, right? We have high that couldn't hold, break down into the body of this candlestick. This candlestick recently here for the month retraced the entire candlestick of June and then began to bounce. So we can see some clear levels that are holding up on the monthly, but they're well below us, right? 17,273. We've got NVIDIA. The whole world is waiting on that one. And it's not so much what NVIDIA says, but how everybody responds to what NVIDIA says. And so that's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to make for quite an elastic band. Let's take a look at the weekly. We can see that the weekly is a lot noisier. We came down into the deep support. Trend is definitely mixed, but it feels negative to me. And so my suspicion is the loss of this 19,505 number is going to give us a breakdown that will retrace the 50% range of this candlestick, which puts us at about 19,000 and some change, right? Let's go over here, right? Just over 19,000 and some change. If we open up underneath this area, bounces are going to be shorts, right? So we have sort of flipped the script. Although the motion is upside, what we're seeing is right now we have this area of a collapse off the high, a pullback to prior lows, and then a bounce that's giving us a lower high. So if we were looking at this on a 5-minute chart, we would say, you know what, I'm going to sell the failed bounce, which should be at the open of this weekly candlestick, which I need to write down because that is a very big thing for me. That's a very big thing. I need to pay attention to that. That just was quite insightful there for me. Now, look what we're looking at. Upside candlestick, bearish engulfing, failure to recapture. And so yesterday, in hindsight, man, that should have been a short at the get-go, right? Looking for the dips to buy because we're still in range, but the dip never came. I mean, the buy opportunity for the dip never came. Might it be here? Yes, but we are clearly looking at a formation that says bounces, which could be up here into 763, going to give us sell zones. If the system were cleaner here, if the numbers were cleaner, I would say the bounce into 735, that was a nice sell zone yesterday, actually. The bounces into 735 should give us selling opportunities, or the break below 19,505, continued selling, right? This 30 simple moving average really tells the tale. And here is the 1 hour extensions. These are the 1 hour extensions I do with Fibonacci coming into value area low. Prior congestion there, but again, we are definitively looking at bounces giving us selling opportunities. So bounces into the VWAP, bounces into the point of control, bounces into the 606 area, just collapse into a 5-minute candlestick once it gets up into those areas to find your selling pressure. All right, let's go to the YM. And let's start for the monthly. Strong candlestick formations, right? Very, very strong candlestick formations. The problem is, why can't I find my regular? Okay. The problem is that, what do I think is fueling this? I suspect the dollar fade has brought a lot of foreign divestment into the market, and they come in through the Dow, right? It's the heaviest hitters, people that are managing portfolios across the pond. If somebody goes, listen, I want U.S. Exposure, they're going to go to the Dow, right? They might go to the S&P, but most of the time it's the Dow. All right, and so what we have is a breakout area here from the ranges over 40,316, but I suspect this is going to be exit liquidity for a fair bit of very savvy traders. If we go to the quarterly, that's also really bullish, actually. I don't see anything toppy here as of yet. For sure, right? Take a peek at this candlestick formation. Wow, it's not going to give it to me. Oops. Yeah, they won't let me do that. All right, so let's go all the way down to the daily. What happened here? Okay. If we go to the daily, let's go back to the daily. We can see that we've got a little bit of a topping tail forming. Great short right here in my mind, but holding this zone is going to be very critical. The moment that they lose this level at 21,279, I think we walk down this candlestick. So look for the failed retest of 21,279. It's going to give us shorting action into and around this congestion here at 41,640, and then the big number down here at 40,618. Let's see how our measurements look here, right? You could see them trying to bounce off of that level that I built there. And what do we have? This, and then 1618 puts us down here. That's good. That's good confluence. That's good confluence. So yes, 41,200, and then, all the way down to the value area low, 41,100, and then potentially this 41,152. I don't know that it's going to happen in a day, but this is what I am seeing. And now we are underneath all of those moving averages, and they are all either slanting, that says, hey, listen, bounces are going to be sell zones, or they're downright rolling over, okay, to include the VWAP. So bounces are looking like sell zones today, starting from around 41,337. My golly, I'm so sorry this was such a long video. Let's go to SPY. The parameters are the same. Here's what's going on with the SPY from yesterday's 9:30 to 10:30 opening range. Notice collapses into the value area low in the first couple of hours, gives us a bounce zone, right? We know the trend is up. Dips are going to be buy zones. The first pass bounce sends us into another selling zone. And we can see, hey, my hull is down. I'm under the VWAP. The 30, don't pay attention to it unless it's the bigger number, and it's slicing through everything. So we know it's already a range. But on our bounce, we got a lower high, and now we're moving around here. We can have a very sideways day, but top ends, 561.40, going to be best chance for a short. And, if it loses the value area low, the first pass bounce is going to be another sell zone, right? Underneath the POC, the point of control. Qs, same sort of thing, right? First hour trading yesterday showed us that, so you want to draw it for today, right? Knowing what it is that we could see we came and held the low of the opening range. That's a big deal. So if we hold the low of the opening range, chances are we'll hit the 50% marker. And so this is one of the few that, let's put in 0.5. Right? You can see us coming into 50. Really, it looks like it's going to be 61.8. Where is that? I have noticed that Fibonacci level works really well for these. Oh, sorry, that's upside down. That's 382, excuse me. Oh, I hate having these extra long videos. I'm so sorry. Yeah, comes in right to that edge. 618 of the entire formation. It says 382 because it's upside down. But most definitely comes in there and fades. And so today's opening range should tell you exactly what to do. Same with the SPY. My apologies, but necessary because we have ourselves a shift in what's going on in the market. All right, take care, and I'll see you on the streams.